Review number 2 here on the day, and it's also day 4 of the 5-star Grand Prix 2025 tournament. I'm your host, as always, Scott E. Thank you for joining me here today. If you are, once again, if you continue to listen, continue to support, it means the world to me. Because quite frankly, if we're being honest, I'm tired of my own voice. But hey, we keep on trucking along here. Stardom was at the Sendai Pit for day 4 of action, and it was red stars action. On paper, this looked to be one of the best days of tournament action, and it was just that. I really loved it. Easy watch, which was always nice. 8 matches, good up and down the card. Some of my favorite matches from the tournament are on this very show, so I'm excited to get to it. Before we get to it, though, I'll ask you to check out all the videos from this past week, starting with day 1 of the 5-star Grand Prix, day 2 of the 5-star Grand Prix, day 3 of the 5-star Grand Prix, and of course the 5-star Joshi show. And if you're interested in the Marigold tournament, available now is the Dreamstar Grand Prix day 1 review. We're doing all these days. If you listen, great. If you don't, it's okay too. I appreciate all of you that are tuning in, though. It means the world to me, and hopefully I'm helping you pick and choose the matches from the tournament along the way. But like I said, this was my favorite day of the tournament thus far, so let's get right into it. The day 4 all red stars block action, starting with Sayaka Kurrara versus Rian. This match was solid, folks. Very, very solid. Rian's having a very good tournament. A very good tournament. I think that's one of my biggest takeaways. She's having such a strong tournament for a rookie. Yeah, she's not going to be an MVP conversation. Yeah, whatever. That of course not. But she's having consistency right through, and that's what you want to see out of the rookies. That's what you want to see if you're Stardom out of this rookie. I think Rion has a bright future ahead of her. Kurara's had a very good tournament as well. I think that's worth talking about too. These two open the show up. Kurara gets her first win in the match and kind of was dominating, but Rion was able to come back, hit a cutter, and keep fighting. This was ended up being pretty competitive between the two, which I think was a welcome sign for Rion, even in her likely defeat. It's very unlikely she gets any wins, quite frankly, in this block, unless they give her a shock win over Tora, which wouldn't actually shock me too much now that I think about it. But hey, listen, I think Kurara has found her way in terms of what these tournament matches should look like, and the same goes for Rion. Like I said, a strong start to the tournament, and ultimately exactly what I was hoping for out of these two to open up. There was a great moment where Sayaka hits the spear, but Rion's able to fight out, kick out, and ultimately it was over once Sayaka hits the Falcon Arrow to get the victory, as you'd expect. A strong opener here on the day 4 edition of the 5-star Grand Prix. Next up, you have Wakasukiyama versus B. Priestley. All right, listen, I've not been high on either of these tournaments, right? I've been perfectly honest with that. I thought this was quite fine, if not slightly enjoyable. It was a match that I was like, oh, I don't know about this one, but they played to the shenanigans of what Waka's tournament has been, and I thought that was really smart. Play to the shenanigans of coming up short. Play to the shenanigans of, the continuous trying to get you pins. Right, it hasn't worked for Waka once. She's come up short, right? The 20-something second match in the first one, and then 2 minutes or whatever against who did she face on day 2? I don't even remember who she faced. Was it Hanan? Yeah. And she got dropped in the backdrop driver, right? So this time, okay, I'm gonna try to get B off, right? B's been 2-0 through it, pretty dominant, pretty solid, in terms of her winning percentage, right? As strong as can be. And Waka wants to be the one to get that big upset. And the crowd would have lost it if it happened. I'll give them that. They're building up whatever Waka's win ends up being to be a big one. If it ends up being someone big like she's beat okay, she's faced everyone that's a contender in this tournament. I have no idea. Maybe she'll just beat like Azusa or Lady C Yuna. We'll have to wait and see. But whenever it happens, people are gonna go crazy for it if it happens. But ultimately the match was just kind of made me laugh, you know. B goes for the plan B. That's reversed into a pin attempt, and then that's reversed into a cradle. And Waka's like, "You gotta be kidding me." Honestly, if this is the role we're going to do, right? We're gonna have 32 wrestlers in a tournament. This is what I'm here for. I'm all for it being this path. I think it works best for everyone involved. And ultimately, maybe this starts some momentum for B as well. I thought for the what the match was, it was fine, it was solid, it was effective. Nothing to write home about, but did the job. We then go to what I thought was an incredible stretch of matches, starting with Natsupoi versus Tomoka Inaba. I think this tournament just we should just keep singing the praises of Tomoka Inaba right now, like alongside Sari and Saida. She's on tap to be the MVP at least of the Red Star side of things. She's been awesome. There's confidence there, there's intrigue there, there's excitement there, everything you could ask for out of Tomoki Naba. I think she's absolutely crushing it. This is some of the best work I've ever seen her do. And in this match against Natsupoi, she said, I am going to destroy your leg and you are going to deal with it. And I loved that mindset. I love that method. She was someone that had a complete plan from start to finish. She was someone that was like, I am going to destroy your leg and you are going to lose to me and you will like it. Um uh, Spoiler alert, that did not work out that way. Um, but she did the dragon screw, which really started the failure of Natsupoi's leg, and she just kept wailing on it with kicks after kicks after kicks. Natsupoi kept fighting. That's what she does, right? She keeps fighting back. She even went for the fairy gift, but crashed and burned, but she didn't let go from there. Tomoki Naba just kind of dominates these matches. You know, she's gone through Kid, she's gone through Azumi, and now she's gone through Poi. She's gone through the big three, and she's had such a strong start. Obviously, it'll be interesting to see where she goes from here. You know, she drops to 1 and 2 here though, because Starlight Kid, she already wrestled Starlight Kid. Natsupoi was able to get back on the offense, turn things around, and win the match, getting her signature cradle pin after rolling through a few times to get the win. Like I said, this started a great trend on the show of really good matches, and I think this one was in fact really good and worth the watch if you're watching to see what is indeed worth the watch. So thank you for that. I honestly I think Natsupoi is just continuously showcasing that she is the ace, right? We've talked about this many times on the podcast and everything. She is the ace of this promotion. She's proving that to be the case, and she's continuing to make that the case. A really, really strong showing here from both sides as Natsupoi is getting the win here and moving to 2-1 now. That's not true. That's true. Yeah, 2-1. So she's now 2-1, almost halfway through her tournament, which is pretty crazy to think about. She has another match, of course, tomorrow. Then we had Saya Kamatani versus Azusa and Naba. This was the best Saya Kamatani match to date. Saya through her first two matches, you know, go through the basics. You're the world champion, opening the show. You don't really need to go all out against Lady C and Yuna, but she saw something in Azusa here in the hate versus hate matchup in a match that I really, really liked. Like, I am definitely the high guy on this match, but there was just something about it. I loved the the confidence that Saya gave Azusa in this match. It felt like, you know, you start the match and it's pretty daunting task. Yes, they're in the same faction, but this is Saya Kamatani, right? This is the biggest star in Joshi. That is a lot for a 17-year-old wrestler, and yet the 17-year-old steps up and steps into this match and really builds on this match. Like I said, her confidence was there. It just got bigger and bigger and bigger. Saya Kamatani was willing to give room for her to succeed, and I think that's the biggest part of this match. It's much like the Yuzuki Utami match that I talked about earlier. on the Dreamstar version of this, right? The two Aphrodite members shouts out, giving room to the young, talented rookies to succeed and get moves in. And I think that's very important. This was the most giving I thought Saia needed to be for a match like this. Azusa and Naba hit the Kamagoye, which got a big pop out of me, showing that fight. Hit a moonsault from the top rope, which was really cool. It crushed Saya. It was knees first, but she hit a moonsault, and that was really cool. Saya Kamatani followed up later with a Blue Thunder Bomb modified version before ultimately hitting the Star Crusher in the end to get the victory. Like I said, probably one of my favorite matches of the tournament, quite frankly. Um, I don't know. I thought it exceeded any expectation I had. Saya hadn't been doing, top of the line. She didn't really need to, but they moved her up the card a little. She go in there with someone in her faction. They have a really cool moment after where they embrace, which I thought was really nice. But I like this a lot. I think it's well worth your time. And Saya Kamatani is kind of now going on a trend. Her next few matches let me see. What are her next couple matches? So Saya will face Waka on the night show, so that'll be nothing. But on the Korakuen show, she faces Hanan, obviously a big deal. Then she won't wrestle again until the 16th, so 10 days later. That's a long time. Then she'll face Mei Seira at the Yokohama Budokan, obviously a big one. Then she faces B, so she's gonna finish her tournament very strong with three big time opponents, and I think this was a good start for her to really start rocketing off, and that's really exciting because Saya Kamatani is the world champion. You want her to do great. Next up, you had Uni Zamori versus Lady C. And while I don't think this match was at the level of the previous two, it was quite good. Listen, Uni Mizumori and Lady C, they are two wrestlers who are not going to get a lot of wins. They're two wrestlers who are on the bottom of every stardom card for the most part, but they're two wrestlers that put in a lot of time, put in a lot of effort, and you got to respect them for it. And you got to respect them that they have the time here. They get the time to wrestle their match. And I think that's very important. I think that's super important because that's what you want to see. That's what I want to see is allow these two to just show what they got, show what they have, show what they're capable of. And I think they crushed it. I really, really do. I think in terms of what their match is going to be, it's a very solid middle of the road match, but a fun one. And that's all I'm looking for. All I'm looking for is a fun, enjoyable match when you have the undercard talent in here. Yuna's good, Lady C's good. They hit each other hard, hit each other's big boots, lariats, and ultimately Lady C got the win when she hit a damn Dominator. That was insane. Also, kind of insane that this went after Tomoka and Natsupoi and Kamatani and Azusa. Now I think about it, but either way, they went for it. And shouts out to them. I give them all the credit in the world for what they accomplished in this match. I think they deserve a ton of praise. And they were shoehorned into in between two really tough matches to deliver something. But I also want to give credit to the Sendai PIT crowd. I think we're all very hard on the Sendai PIT crowd. They were into it. They were into it for this match, and this was really, really fun. So yeah, I quite enjoyed this one, and it was a continuation of a good show. But let's talk about my most anticipated match of the tournament that doesn't include Sari. That is Mei Seira versus Hanan. I have been waiting 2 years for this match. This match has been teased and teased and teased and teased. We had it one time at New Blood. It was sick, but it was just the beginning of something. We've seen them face off in tag team action. We've seen them face off Wing Gory versus Crazy Star back in the day, right? They've had great exchanges because these two just don't like each other, and it's awesome. And they played that up in this match. A strong start, tons of dislike for one another. They just brought it all around the Sendai pit. This was really good. This was Hanan at her best. This was Mei Seira at her best. It's everything I want to see from these two wrestlers. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. It's everything I want to see from these two facing off, from these two colliding. And I thought they absolutely crushed it. I really do. I think they absolutely did what you wanted them to do. And that's what matters the most. Mei Seira had a diving drop kick from the apron to the outside on her. They teased the double count out that was really well done. Originally, it was like we're on the floor, then we're gonna go to down the apron. Now it's like ripping each other off, and eventually they both get in the ring. I think double count out teases can be tough, but then they start trading back and forth. We go big time forearms, big time strikes, going back and forth. Then they're running, kind of turning up the speed a little bit, turning up that pace to that Mei Seira pace. Uh, Hanan gets her with a cutie throw. I like to call that the cutie, the cutie special, which is what she just taught. You get it. You get it. I like to call it the cutie throw instead of the cutie special. You get my point. Anyways, that's followed up by Mei Seira getting to her feet, hitting a picture perfect German suplex. That was great. May gets into her signature submission that I don't know the name of, but I like it. She has that, and then she morphs it into like a more serious submission that she won her second match with in this tournament. She goes back to that later after Hanan hit a cutie special. So we got the true cutie special in this match. Picture perfect, but not enough. Back and forth they go. We got a backdrop driver, but not with the bridge. So the match continues on. Mei Seira is able to survive and move on. Hanan started to hit the what's the move called? What's the one that Sonata does? Is that the death fall thing? Back in the I don't know if he still does it, but he debuted a new finisher. It's like a spinning DDT. It's kind of like Sister Abigail or the Blade Runner that Jay White does, but it's with the DDT aspect. I think that's what Sonata does. Whatever. That already too much of trying to figure it out. But she hits that. That's been her new addition, I think, in this tournament, which has been a nice addition. May Seira at the buzzer, the timer's going, counting down. She goes for her flash pin that she's won so many matches with, whether it be high speed or big, just any big match. And as she finally gets it, the time runs out. Mei Seira, Hanan, 15-minute time limit draw. It was not meant to be. We still don't have a winner between these two. It's the story that keeps getting told. I hope we keep going back to it. I thought this match was great. One of my favorites of the tournament. Right there with Konami and Sari, but hell of a performance by both of these two. I thought they absolutely crushed it. Absolutely crushed it. Then we had the semi-main event, Natsuko Tora versus Rina. I continue to sing the praises of Rina because guess what? She's really good. And Natsuko Tora has been on her A game in this tournament. Listen, Natsuko Tora is not going to give you the match of the year or anything like that, but she can give you a good performance, a good heel performance. And this match was just that. Rina was not waiting around. She attacked Natsuko from the get-go. They do the outside stuff that Hate versus Hate likes to do, which is why Saia versus Azusa was a nice surprise. They go back and forth, they get back into the ring, and that's really where I think this match dials up to. Oh, this is pretty good. This is pretty good, because the early goings, whatever. But this is pretty good, and you could see, and I'm watching this. I'm like, I think Rina's got this. I think Rina's going 3-0 to start this tournament. Feels right. And that's exactly what she did. Natsuko Tora goes for the mist on Rina. She's smart. She's smart. Hey, you're in my faction. I know you. She dodges the mist, which was a great spot. She hits the double knees for a near fall. That is not enough. And then this is kind of when Tora starts to dominate. She's like, all right, enough's enough. I'm the former World of Stardom champion. I'm the leader of Hate. This is enough. You are not going to beat me. She hits a Death Valley driver and she pull and that oh sorry, that's actually too early. Rina kicks out at 1. That got the crowd going. That got them hyped. That led to Natsuko then going for a frog splash. She hits the frog splash on Rina and she lifts up Rina's shoulders. This is your faction, mate. What are you doing? What are you trying to prove? Maybe she's just pissed off that Rina had put so much effort and put so much skill into this. Who knows? But she pulls her up and ultimately follows that with a missed swanton. Rina rolls her up. Rina takes advantage, does the bridge, and gets the pin, pinning Natsuko Tora to go 3-0 to start her first ever 5-star Grand Prix. Awesome, awesome, awesome moment for Rina, who is as confident as can be in this tournament right now. Absolutely loved the big win over Tora, and I think they just got to keep going. Rina, keep having Rina succeed. She's gonna lose sooner than later. She's going to her hometown next, so we'll see. But really enjoyed this match. I really enjoyed the show. If you couldn't tell. And then your main event, Starlight Kid versus Azumi. You may have seen it before. You've seen it many and many a time. So this match was good. I enjoyed this match. I think I have reached the point where I am openly tired of the combo for a while, because we're in this weird stage now where they're no longer high speed wrestlers, right? So they'll go back to the high speed a little bit, which they did, and they mix their skill sets, but they'll also do the usual thing. And I think that's an interesting conversation point. You know, SLK doing a lot of leg work, Azumi working her arm, selling the arm. This is kind of what the matches have been for Starlight Kid. She works the leg, and that's the main goal for her against her opponent, while Azumi works the arm. That's just kind of how these matches go. And I don't know. When I watch Azumi versus SOK, I don't want to watch limbs being worked. I just want them to just go out and have the fireworks show. Um, there's also the leg did not come into play at all in the closing stretch. They just ended up kind of letting that go, but they had an exciting closing stretch nonetheless. Starlight Kid had an apron DDT to Azumi onto the apron, as I should say. Um, she had a stomp from across the ring at one point. We got a Azumi Sushi near fall, as you're often expecting. We got a Starlight Kid moonsault near fall. We got an Azumi Destroyer near fall. They're playing the hits, they're playing the big moves. And then in the closing minutes, Azumi gets the numero uno on Starlight Kid. She's surviving. She gets out of it. And ultimately, this was all to lead to a 15-minute time limit draw, which shouldn't shock anyone at all that this match went to a draw. But hey, I enjoyed it. I still enjoyed it. Not my favorite match on the show. I have other matches that I prefer, but it has made my list of go out of your way to watch it if you want. Definitely under the good category, and a strong main event to close this edition of the 5-star Grand Prix Day 4. So before we get there, let's look at the worth watching. I keep the list going for everyone to check out. First up at the top, we have great Saori versus Konami from day one, and now Mei Seira versus Hanan. I've added that. I was always going to be the high guy on that match. I know that because I just love those two and what they do. Then under very good, I've decided to give Saia Kamitani versus Azusa and Naba the bump. I want to set them apart from the other two really solid matches from day 4, and then then good, the category, which is, the borderline matches you need to go out of your way to see, but still quite enjoyable. That is Saida versus Seriano from day 1, Tomoka Inaba versus Starlight Kid from day 1, Saori versus Rana Yagami from day 3, Ami Sourei versus Saida from day 3, Natsupoi versus Tomoka Inaba from day 4, and Azumi versus Starlight Kid from day 4. Overall, the best day of the tournament thus far, I think quite easily. Some really, really, really good matches. So before we get out of here, let's quickly look at the stats for this one, starting with the Red Stars A block. B Priestley and Saya Kamatani sit atop the blocks with 6 points apiece. Mei Seira sitting in that third and final qualifier spot with 5 points. Hanan has 3. Azusa, Naba, and Lady C with 2. And Wakasukiyama and Uni Zamori sit at the bottom with 0. Then in Red Stars B, all by herself, the only undefeated in Red Stars B is none other than Rina, 3-0, 6 points. Then there's Natsuko, Tora, and Natsupoi, who have 4 points apiece. Azumi, Starlight Kid sit at 3 apiece. Sayaka, Kurrara at 2, as well as Tomoka Inaba at 2, and then Rian at the bottom with 0. Your leading time per match is all from the Red Star side. They, in terms of averages, now it makes sense. The opening night was short, but The top 9 are all from Red Stars right now, in terms of overall time, not just average. But Starlight Kid is currently your leading average at 12:51. Sari is, I believe, in second with 12, and then Tomoki Naba is right behind at 11:59. So obviously, they all have the most time. They have the most matches. That checks out. But nonetheless, I think a really successful show. We'll do an MVP update tomorrow when we go over the 16 matches. I don't think I have to do that every single time, but hey, like I said, if you're listening to this, if you're listening to all these videos, I appreciate it. I'm just tired, but I love doing it. I love the comments that that you guys leave. It means the world to me, and I appreciate all the support that you continue to give me each and every review. I'm trying to keep these a little bit shorter because one, time for myself, but also just time for you. If you're the listener, you don't want to hear every little thing. But thank you so much for listening. This was a really good show. My favorite show so far, the 5-star. And now we go into the hometowns of Hina, Rina, and Hanan, as well as Yorihime, for a doubleheader on Sunday, which should be good. So await that review. I'm looking forward to that show. We got a Sari versus Hina main event on the day side, and then B versus Hanan on the night side. So should be a lot of fun. But thank you everyone for listening. Thank you for everyone for supporting the channel. It means more to me than I could ever put into words. And until next time, everyone, so long. See you later. Enjoy the tournament. Enjoy your weekend. Bye bye.